Hello and welcome to News Tonight on Rajya Sabha TV. I'm Tina Jha. Let's begin with the headlines of the day. Supreme Court refuses to stay implementation of Citizenship Amendment Act, issues notice to the centre seeking its response on pleas challenging the act, also advises the government to consider spreading awareness about the law using the audio-visual medium. Supreme Court upholds death sentence of Nirbhaya gang rape and murder convicts, dismisses review plea filed by convict Akshay Kumar Singh. Hearing on issuance of death warrants for convicts adjourned for 7 January 2020. Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman begins pre-budget consultations, meets finance ministers of states and union territories. Discussion held on steps taken by the Centre for Economic Growth. States give suggestions towards achieving target of $5 trillion economy. Campaigning for Jharkhand Assembly polls ends. Political parties put up a show of strength in the last phase. Fifth and final phase of polling to be held in 16 constituencies on Friday. And Sahitya Academy Awards announced in 23 languages. Award for Nand Kishore Acharya for his collection of Hindi poetry. Congress leader Shashi Tharoor to get the award for English for his book An Era of Darkness. And the top story of the day, the Supreme Court has refused to stay the implementation of the Citizenship Amendment Act 2019. Hearing a batch of petitions filed by several people, including leaders from the Congress and the Trinamool Congress parties, the top court agreed to examine its constitutional validity and issued a notice to the centre. A bench headed by Chief Justice S.A. Bobde also instructed Attorney General K.K. Venugopal to publicise the aims and objectives of the amended act. The court will now hear the matter on 22nd of January. And the Supreme Court has rejected the review plea filed by one of the 4 men convicted in the 2012 Nirbhaya gang rape and murder case. The top court observed that there is no ground to review the judgment as the evidence provided by the convicts' lawyers have been examined earlier by the trial court. With this verdict on the plea of convict Akshay Kumar Singh, the review petitions of all the 4 death row convicts in the case stand dismissed by the apex court. Meanwhile, the Patiala House Court refused to immediately issue death warrants to the 4 convicts in the case. The court will now hear the matter on 7th of January 2020. The court also directed the Tihar jail authorities to issue a fresh notice for 1 week to convicts as to whether they want to file mercy petitions. And the Supreme Court took suo motu cognizance of the assessment of the criminal justice system in response to sexual offences. The apex court said that delay in cases like the 2012 Nirbhaya case has created agitation, anxiety and unrest in the minds of people. The top court said that post-Nirbhaya case in 2012, several amendments were introduced in criminal law to redefine the ambit of offences, providing for effective and speedy probe and trial in rape cases. However, the NCRB's 2017 data said 32,559 cases of rape were registered in India. The bench, headed by Chief Justice S.A. Bobde, asked all states and high courts for the status report on compliance of procedure laid down by the court and the law by 7th of February 2020. The top court also questioned the measures taken for witness protection and compensation for the rape survivors. It also sought to know the status of the utilization of the Nirbhaya Fund created in the year 2013. On to some other news. Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman on Wednesday held pre-budget consultations with finance ministers of all states and union territories. During the meeting, the finance minister elucidated the centre's philosophy of cooperative federalism and also the steps taken by it to bolster the growth of the Indian economy. Discussion on measures to strengthen cooperation between states and the centre to attain $5 trillion economy was also held. The state governments also presented their views and expressed their suggestions on growth, investment, resource requirement, as well as the fiscal policy. The finance minister welcomed the suggestions made by the states and also assured them that their suggestions will be examined. And also considered, that's what the assurance was given by the finance minister. Chief ministers of Goa, Haryana and Puducherry, deputy chief ministers of Arunachal Pradesh, Bihar, Delhi, Tamil Nadu and Tripura, as well as 17 finance ministers and other ministers representing their states were present in the meeting. Union Minister of State for Finance, Anurag Singh Thakur, was also present in the meeting. And the finance minister also chaired the 38th GST Council meeting in Delhi on Wednesday. The focus of the meeting was on revenue augmentation measures. The GST Council exempted long-term lease on industrial plots to facilitate setting up of industrial parks. The Council also relaxed levy of penalty for non-filing of GSTR1 from July 2017. In the meeting, the GST Council fixed 28% tax rate on lottery effective 1st March 2020. With a view to increase GST collection, the Council sought suggestions from the states on issues relating to the review of items currently under exemption, rationalizing rates to inverted tax structure, measures currently being implemented to increase revenue receipts. And campaigning for the fifth and final phase of assembly elections in Jharkhand concluded on Wednesday. 16 seats spread over Sahibganj, Pakur, Dumka, Jamtara, Devghar and Godda districts of Santhal Pargana region will go to polls in this phase. Star campaigners of various political parties, including the BJP, the Congress, the JMM, the Jharkhand Vikas Morcha and the AJSU, made last-ditch efforts to woo the voters. BJP Working President JP Nadda, Union Minister Arjun Munda, Congress General Secretary Priyanka Gandhi Vadra, and BJP leaders Babul Supriyo and Ravi Kishan, AJSU President Sudesh Kumar Mehto, and several leaders from the RJD as well as the left parties addressed various election rallies in support of their party candidates. Elections in 81 assembly seats in Jharkhand are being held in 5 phases, which began on 30th November. The second phase was held on the 7th of December, the third on 12th December, the fourth phase on the 16th of December, and now voting in the fifth phase will be held on Friday, while the counting of votes will take place on 23rd of December. Vice President M. Venkaiah Naidu on Wednesday interacted with journalists. During the interaction with journalists from South Indian media organizations, the Vice President advised them to focus on covering the good views of the members of Parliament and not just report the disorderly scenes. He observed that during debate, some members make excellent points, but the media does not report them. He also said that political parties should control the unruly behavior of their members in Parliament, stressing on the need to maintain decorum and discipline as the entire country looks up to the Rajya Sabha as the House of Elders. On reforms in the judiciary, the Vice President stressed on the need to set up more benches of the Supreme Court to reduce pendency of cases and also expenditure on litigants. Lok Sabha Speaker Om Birla on Wednesday said legislatures are temples of democracy where issues related to people are raised and they should not be reduced to arenas of political slugfest. Addressing the 79th Conference of Presiding Officers of Legislative Bodies in India in Dehradun, the Lok Sabha Speaker asserted that there should be discussion, debate and dissent in the House, but no disturbance. He said people of the country expect that those they have elected should present their views and raise issues related to them in Parliament. He also added that the first session of the 17th Lok Sabha recorded productivity of 125% and the House was not adjourned even once. While in the just concluded winter session of Parliament, the productivity was 115%.
जनप्रति होने के नाते संसद और विधानमंडलों में जनता की आशाओं आकांक्षाओं का मंदिर है। कोई भी माननीय विधायक या सांसद को अपनी बात कहने का अवसर, जनता के अभावों, समस्याएं कहने का एकमात्र लोकतंत्र का मंदिर है तो विधानसभा लोकसभा है, जिसके माध्यम से अपनी जनता की बात सरकार को पहुंचाने का काम करता है, कार्यपालिका पर नियंत्रण करने का काम करता है, सरकार में जवाबदेही हो, पारदर्शिता हो, इसके लिए सदन का उपयोग करता है। और ये हमारे लोकतंत्र की विशेषता भी है कि हमारे लोकतंत्र के अंदर जो चुने हुए जनप्रतिनिधि हैं वो कार्यपालिका पर नियंत्रण करें, कार्यपालिका में पारदर्शिता है, सरकार पारदर्शी तरीके से काम करे, जनता की जवाबदेही के लिए काम करें। इसीलिए विधानसभा लोकसभा है। और इस विधानसभा लोकसभा के अंदर हम 2 दिन के सम्मेलन में यही चर्चा करने वाले हैं कि किस तरीके से हम विधानसभा लोकतंत्र के मंदिरों को मजबूत करें, कैसे ये मंदिर जनता की अपेक्षा और आकांक्षाओं को पूरा करने का मंदिर बने। और यही सम्मेलन का उद्देश्य है, क्योंकि ये देवभूमि है और इस देवभूमि के अंदर मुझे आशा है कि 2 दिवसीय जब चर्चा होगी तो जिस तरीके से देवता निर्वाध होकर चर्चा करते हैं, बिना पूर्वाग्रह के चर्चा करते हैं, उसी तरीके से हम 2 दिन तक इस पर चर्चा करेंगे।
Speaking at the conference, Speaker of the Uttarakhand Assembly, Prem Chandra Agarwal, said members of the legislatures must remain loyal to people and also to democracy.
विधानमंडलों के सदस्य जनता के प्रति निष्ठावान रहें, विधायिका में लोकतंत्र के प्रति प्रतिबद्ध रहें और दायित्वों का गंभीरता से पालन करें। यही संसदीय लोकतंत्र की सफलता का मूल तत्व है। राजनीति व्यवसाय नहीं, एक मिशन है। यहां एक बड़ा पुनीत कार्य है जो जनता ने हमें सौंपा है।
Uttarakhand Chief Minister T.S. Rawat also stressed on increasing the productivity of state assemblies. He said the state legislatures must follow Parliament in enhancing their productivity.
संसद की तरह विधानसभाओं में भी बेहतर परफॉर्मेंस एक कैसे हो, ये जरूर विचार करना चाहिए। और ये केवल किसी राज्य विशेष के लिए नहीं है, बल्कि हम सब के लिए है कि हम बेहतर परफॉर्मेंस कैसे दें। इस पर हमको जरूर विचार करना चाहिए। राज्यों की जो प्रोडक्टिविटी है वो विधानसभाओं से आती है, तो उसको वो प्रोडक्टिविटी हमारी कैसे बढ़े उसका हमको उस ख्याल रखना होगा। और इसको हम कैसे साकार कर सकते हैं, इसका हमको विचार करना होगा।
Time for a short break here, but more news and updates will continue on the other side. Do stay with us.
Among the inseparable identity of Delhi, Kutub Minar has stood by the test of times and elements. Struck by lightning a few times, the 240-meter star suffered damages on its top story. Firoz Shah Tughlaq and Sikandar Lodi had commissioned the repair under the rule, but the damage most remembered was the one in the 19th century, when an earthquake had damaged the topmost story in 1803. The responsibility of the repair was given to a British officer, Major Robert Smith, who had placed a pillared cupola on the top of the minaret. After massive criticism, the then Governor-General Harding ordered the cupola to be removed. It was reinstalled at the ground level to the east of Kutub Minar. It still remains there, known as Smith's Folly.
Million people have now given the thumbs up to Rajya Sabha television. RSTV's growth has been phenomenal, with the journey from 2 million to 3 million being completed in less than 6 months. That's over 6,200 new subscribers every day. Our online viewers are engaging with us more actively. Every day, thousands like, share and comment on our videos. So come and join this growing tribe of RSTV viewers and get ready for an exciting journey.
Welcome back. You're watching News Tonight. Environment Minister Prakash Javadekar said on Wednesday that environmental protection and development go hand in hand, and the notion of a conflicting relationship between the two is completely wrong. Addressing the summit on sustainability, the minister said that India took a positive initiative to form the International Solar Alliance, and today 78 countries are its members. He said that India has emerged as one of the leaders in fighting the crisis of climate change today.
हम एक जो भी रेफ्रिजरेटर मेकर्स है, जो एयर कंडीशनर मेकर्स है, उनकी एक बैठक बुलाएंगे और बैठक बुलाकर उनके साथ ये कूलिंग एक्शन प्लान और मिनिमम टेम्परेचर 23-24 कैसे रहे, इसके लिए हम उनसे चर्चा करेंगे, क्योंकि ये भी प्रदूषण जलवायु परिवर्तन के लिए एक महत्वपूर्ण उपाय है और इसकी जरूरत भी है.
The HRD Ministry, in collaboration with the Media and Entertainment Skill Council, on Wednesday organized an Academia Meet Manthan in Delhi. The event aims to promote skill development in media and the entertainment industry. The program aims to inspire media and the entertainment students to think beyond placements and work closely with industries. 18 universities and colleges across the nation signed an agreement with the Media and Entertainment Skills Council to offer undergrad courses in gaming, animation, filmmaking and visual arts. Union Minister Ramesh Pokhriyal Nishank and Subhash Ghai, Chairman of Media and Entertainment Skill Council, attended the event. And speaking on the occasion, the HRD Minister said that skill education forms the backbone of development of any nation.
मीडिया और मनोरंजन जो सेक्टर है, ये बहुत जल्दी बहुत तेजी से रोजगार भी देगा, नए संस्कार भी पैदा करेगा, नए रास्तों को भी तय करेगा और रुचि का भी विषय है. इसके माध्यम से हम चाहे वो आईटी के माध्यम से, ये तकनीकी के माध्यम से, इन कलाओं के माध्यम से जो 2024 में $5 मिलियन की अर्थव्यवस्था का इस देश का लक्ष्य है, ये उस लक्ष्य को पाने के लिए ये आयाम स्थापित होंगे, ऐसा मेरा भरोसा है.
The first ever India-US 2+2 ministerial dialogue is scheduled to take place in Washington later today, where the two countries are likely to exchange views on salient regional and global issues. The Indian delegation is being led by External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar and Defence Minister Rajnath Singh. They would be hosted by their American counterparts, Secretary of State Mike Pompeo and Defence Secretary Mark Esper, at the Foggy Bottom headquarters of the State Department. Ahead of the meeting, Indian Ambassador Harshvardhan Shringla said the 2+2 dialogue is the highest level institutional mechanism between India and the USA that brings together our perspectives on foreign policy, defense, and strategic issues. According to officials, there is a high possibility of announcements on pending defense sales like MH-60R helicopters, Mk-45 naval guns, and other systems under consideration. The 2+2 meet comes after a record 4 meetings between Prime Minister Narendra Modi and US President Donald Trump this year, including the massive joint address by the leaders in Houston in September. The amended Citizenship Act is not anti-Muslim, Defense Minister Rajnath Singh assured the Indian community in the United States of America and said that India's culture does not teach hatred. The Defense Minister, who arrived in the United States on Monday for the 2019 US-India 2+2 ministerial dialogue in Washington, addressed members of the Indian community in New York during an event organized by the Consulate General of India. He said the law aims at providing citizenship to minorities such as Hindus, Sikhs, Christians, Parsis, Buddhists, Jains, fleeing religious persecution in India's neighboring countries of Pakistan, Afghanistan, and Bangladesh. On global economic slowdown, the Defense Minister said that India is impacted to some extent by it, but expressed confidence that India will come out of the difficult situation within a short time. On Pakistan, the minister said that if talks were to be held with our neighboring country in future, it would only be on POK. He further added that with the induction of the Rafale fighter jets in the Air Force, India will not have to cross the borders to eliminate the terror camps in Pakistan, but can do it from the country itself. And the Defense Minister also visited the Naval Air Station Oceana, Norfolk in the United States on Tuesday and observed a static display and also FA-18E flight demonstration there. He said at the Naval Station Norfolk that he had the opportunity to be on board the USS Dwight E. Eisenhower, which is the Nimitz-class aircraft carrier. And back home, in a big win for Cyrus Mistry, the National Company Law Appellate Tribunal has restored him as Executive Chairman of Tata Sons. Hearing the petition challenging his removal as Chairman of Tata Sons, the tribunal had ruled that appointment of N. Chandrasekharan as the Executive Chairman was illegal and said that Ratan Tata's actions against Mistry were oppressive, setting aside a lower court order. The panel quashed the conversion of Tata Sons into a private company from a public firm. It also directed Tata Sons not to take any action against Mistry, whose family owns close to 18% interest in Tata Sons. And the annual Sahitya Academy Awards in 23 languages were announced on Wednesday. 7 books of poetry, 4 novels, 6 books of short stories, 3 books of essays, along with 1 each of non-fiction autobiography and biography category, have won the Sahitya Academy Awards this year. The winners will be presented with the award at a special function on 25th of February 2020. Congress leader Shashi Tharoor won the award for his book, An Era of Darkness, while Nand Kishore Acharya received recognition for his Hindi poetry book, Chhilte Hue Apne Ko. Other winners include Chinmay Guha for his Bengali essay Ghumar Darja Thele, Sho Dharman's Tamil novel Shul, and V. Madhusudan Nayar's Malayalam poetry book. And let's now talk about environment and climate change. A recent study by the Massachusetts Amherst University says that birds migrate faster in the spring season due to climate change than they did 20 years ago. And their migratory patterns have also changed significantly. Research also says that atmospheric temperatures and migration times are closely linked to each other. Warming temperatures, shifting seasons, changing precipitation, and rising sea levels are disrupting the migratory patterns as well as the speed of migration. Warmer temperatures are forcing birds to move northwards and breed farther north than in the past. 43% of the total bird species are highly vulnerable to the effects of climate change, predicted to occur by the year 2050. And that's it from us in this bulletin. Thank you for your time.